not everyone who is at that helm or that board is for the players. And I'll use this analogy that we've been using in the exiles community for a while now. If people want to fight me, I can send them my address for them to come find me.
Watawesimeka kweli, but carry on.
Yeah, like
Wajaribu.
Michigan ni noma. They will give up in the middle of the way.
Before they get hit.
Yeah.
So, when you see rats hanging around a kitchen, it means there's food somewhere in that kitchen.
Hey.
When you see rats hanging around a kitchen, they're actually getting fed, right? So fill in the dots for yourself. What the kitchen is and what the rats are. But again,
I'm with you on that one.
there's goodwill. If there's administrators of goodwill, Kenya Rugby would have been on a different scale. You cannot explain. There's some people who just can't let things work because they're seeing the potential of the funds that will come in and the potential of them doing insider trading or the potential of them doing embezzlement. And you know, we're in an information era. And for the first time, we have a populace that has, you know, access to information, and they will question. Have players go full time, dedicate all their time to the Kenya 7 setup, the Kenya 15 setup. And for a while, that kind of, you know, worked well. There were systems that were kind of working, but you know, it's not sustainable. Like, you can't tell a young kid that, oh yeah, drop everything you're doing, or not even a young kid, someone who's just trying to build his, you're 23-year-old, 24-year-old, you've just graduated college, you're trying to get your foot either in the job market, you're trying to get something, then the union, in this case the governing body, tells you, hey, drop everything that you're doing, do this for us, we think you're a good player, we will compensate you, and this is what we'll pay you with. First of all, if that compensation is not fair and up to the standard of the, you know, the economy, then that player is impoverished. And I mean, just like I said, the players are willing to even play for free. But the thing is, if you're saying you're going to pay the player, pay them what dues are.
Talk rugby a bit, because there's certain things that are not easy to ignore that have been happening within the Kenyan rugby scene.
Please, Nauto boy,
Yes.
siogope.
Yes, so
We want the juice.
I mean, over here I know that there was a resignation of the Kenya Rugby Union chairman Sasha Mutai. I want to know from your perspective as a player, how do these back office issues affect player morale? Because Sisi fans, we get entertained to that drama,
But we get pissed
but
off.
we don't have an idea of how this is affecting the player, because kuna mwingine anasema si player yuko field anacheza. Hii ni story nyingine tofauti ya siasa. So is there any way in which these off the pitch dramas affect players on the field and their performance?
Oh yes, that's a definite yes. You know, there's a lot of things that players. What word can I use? Do they shelve it so that they can put up a show to just to perform? The first thing, we love playing rugby. You know, anyone, even Benny will tell you when he used to play, we do this for free. Typically, we do it for free. You know, but what we would like what would like to happen is, if you say you are going to compensate players to play because they're doing this at a high performance environment, or they're representing the country, and you're saying you're going to compensate them, we want that to be fair compensation, right? If there's a breakdown of compensation and this person is putting in time and saying, okay, this is my career now, this is what I'm going to focus on, then you see you're impoverishing a whole generation and a bloodline, so to say.
Yes.
So from There was from when we had Mike Friday as coach, there was a really big push to have players go full time, dedicate all their time to the Kenya 7 setup, the Kenya 15 setup, um, and for a while that kind of worked well. There were systems that were kind of working, but it's not sustainable. Like you can't tell a young kid that, oh yeah, drop everything you're doing, or not even a young kid, someone who's just trying to build his you're 23-year-old, 24-year-old, you've just graduated college, you're trying to get your foot either in the job market, you're trying to get something, then the union, in this case the governing body, tells you, hey, drop everything that you're doing, do this for us, we think you're a good player, we will compensate you, and this is what we will pay you with. First of all, if that compensation is not fair and up to the standard of the economy, then that player is impoverished. And I mean, just like I said, the players are willing to even play for free. But the thing is, if you're saying you're going to pay the player, pay
Pay
them
them.
what dues are, right? And if you're not gonna pay them fairly, then allow them time to go and do other things
Yes.
to keep them afloat. Now, when you're in that environment and you've dedicated your time and saying that, oh, this is going to be my bread and butter, I'll go to practice at 6 a.m. in the morning and we'll practice all the way till 11 a.m. I don't have anything else. After that, I'll just go do rehab, then go to the club in the evening again. That's a full day. That's a full day of committing your time. Now, if for some reason the funding is misappropriated, or the salaries delay, your landlord doesn't want to know that you've not been paid by the union. Your family, probably, who's depending on you to send something, doesn't want to know, because, and the thing is, they see you on TV.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
seeing you on TV, they think that you're a millionaire, right? They think that you're playing for the national team, you should have your finances in order. But if this is not the case, first of all, it kills your morale, it kills your drive to do better, it kills your drive to want better, to want to do better even for the team. And then this leads to player frustrations, players dropping off and saying, okay, I'm not going to play at all until these things are then what happens again is you've dropped senior players because you don't want to compensate them. Then you come again and say, okay, these young players now, because they can play for free, we'll take them. Then they go have a poor performance, then we start playing them again, then we drop them, then the vicious cycle continues. Once funds are available, you bring back the senior players. It's just a never ending cycle of injustices and just poor administration.
Now, Sam, here's my question, now looking from the outside.
Yeah.
Because we've been entertained to these issues for a long time. Even when the team was performing well, there was always chatter about some issues here and there, like money not making it to the accounts on time and stuff like that. I'm trying to think from the perspective of the people who are the officials of Kenya Rugby Union. Is it a case of there's bad actors there present, or is it just a case of maybe incompetence, or is this a case of like good old embezzlement? Which of this is? Because I want to imagine that within that structure there are people who want Kenyan rugby to do well. So what exactly, with you from a player perspective, where exactly did you see the problem was from the official point of view?
Well, there's a cocktail of things that would cause all the pains that are happening at KRU. But I would sum it all up in one. We have administrators who lack integrity. They lack integrity.
Okay.
And besides that, there's just no goodwill to actually channel the resources to where they deserve to be channeled to. You'll see people casually on social media asking, oh, so how much was this sponsorship? How much money came? of that fraction, how much of it actually went to the product, in this case the players, because all this funding that we're getting is supposed to support the game. Who is playing the game? The players. So we cannot say we're receiving, out of 100 shillings, 75% of it is going to admin and other things, and only 25% is going to the pockets of the players. I mean, make it make sense. you know the thing is, if we had administrators who had goodwill and want to make our game move to the next step, then we would focus heavily on the players' welfare. Right now, if you talk to previous players and all these if you come to Cape Fear, talk to the players who played for Shujaa, played for Simba, you will, I guarantee you'll get half of the players who were in that environment will tell you they went without play insurance after getting injured playing for the national team. I am one of them.
Without health insurance?
Yes, I got injured playing for the national team 2016, and my club took care of the insurance.
Okay.
So these are some of the things that you ask yourself, why can we not just have systems that are working?
Now, it seemed like Sasha Mutai, like when he got elected a little while back, and during his tenure, like the team came back from relegation, and technically we qualified, we qualified back for Kobat, but everything, like got updated and changed. So my question is, and this is now me looking from the outside, correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like he was one of the people who had goodwill and genuine intent in wanting to elevate the game, but he abruptly left the building.
Yeah.
So what exactly does that say? So if this is someone who, knows the game, loves the game, understands it, and has integrity, and he comes in there and then he says, no, I cannot do this, what exactly does that mean, or what does that bode for us now, people who are looking from the outside?
People looking from the outside should know the truth. Not everyone who is at that helm or that board is for the players. And I'll use this analogy that we've been using in the Exiles community for a while now. People, if people want to fight me, I can send them my address for them to come find me.
Watawasimeka kweli, but carry on.
Yeah, like Michigan, they normal. They will give up in the middle of the way
before they get hit.
Yeah.
So, when you see rats hanging around a kitchen, it means there's food somewhere in that kitchen.
Hey.
When you see rats hanging around a kitchen, they're actually getting fed, right? So fill in the dots for yourself. What the kitchen is and what the rats are. But again,
I'm with you on that one.
There's goodwill. If there's administrators of goodwill, Kenya Rugby would have been on a different scale. You cannot explain. There's some people who just can't let things work because they're seeing the potential of the funds that will come in and the potential of them doing insider trading or the potential of them doing embezzlement. And we're in an information era, and for the first time we have a populace that has access to information, and they will question. We have a generation of players who will question everything. There was this money, what was it spent for? Show us the accounts. What did we use these loans for? And the simple math is just not mathing, so to speak, right?
Yeah. To support what Sam is saying, I don't know. Did you watch that? The Rogue Rugby TV podcast?
Rogue Rugby TV, yes. Very, very interesting.
Especially pertaining to what was happening to KRU in light of Sasha retiring,
resigning,
resigning, and one of the guests is a player / lawyer, and he was reading, like he was just going around and just reading numbers of amounts spent
Yeah.
For example, cleaning or security or food or vending, astronomical amounts from 400,000 to 4 million. Like, there's a discrepancy. The math is not mathing. And like Sam is saying, the problem is, it's not the people who are. So Sasha came in and left. Like, the guys Mothe came in and left. But there are constant guys.
Constant rats.
Constant rats. Thank you. Constant rats. Who, it doesn't matter who you bring in, but those constant rats being there, nothing is ever going to change.
But the question is, and this is, like, I know, a sensitive question. Who are they?
Or they are known. And,
Yeah.
and by the way, I'm sure I'm going to say this. I'm sure Sam knows them.
Yeah.
Sasha knows them. The player, I think it's Polisi. The guy, the player. They are known.
So if they are known,
They are known. I don't know the intricate workings.
and I'm not asking for names to be mentioned, but here I'm saying if there's
bro,
a clarity that these people are known.
At some point,
Yeah.
we need. I think in a group where you're talking about, where I say we're talking about how somebody is trying to not mention a source or a guy or a high government official.
Yeah.
No. We need to name and shame, because guess what? These are the people who, one, are frustrating our players. When you listen to that interview and you look and you listen to the numbers, the money that is coming in vis-a-vis the number, the monies that the players are getting, be it a stipend or whatever, these guys are just crying. You remember when they covered the
sponsor,
the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things we are talking about. We are enjoying the game that is being played. However, there are scroungers. There are rats. You know what? There are rats who have the bubonic plague in them that are fucking up the game.
Now,
Let me give you a simple example.
Yes.
How much was allocated to cleaning?
400. Okay, in one estimate it was 400,000 whatever, but then in a revised estimate it was like 4 million, right or wrong?
How? Wait. Even if you say 400,000
Kenya shillings,
4 million, we know what needs to be cleaned at KRU. We know all the kit that needs to be cleaned. All the players know that one mama who cleans all the kit at KRU. I guarantee you, she's not a millionaire. There's one lady, and I think she brings her daughter. And when you go to Queens, you'll see her washing all the kits that maybe Shujai has just come from tour. You'll see them, and her daughter or a friend washing the jerseys.
Not a millionaire.
Yeah,
and that is
not a millionaire.
And that is why that is why I will always put the onus on the former rugby players to call out, because again, the rats are there.
No,
you can see the rats.
Yeah,
but they're not. They're not saying that Ali is the rat that is eating.
Yeah, but